Barcelona, out of nowhere, have started putting together a really decent run of form under Xavi, which has culminated in a 4-0 hammering of Real Madrid, which I've got to be honest, has taken me by surprise. And I think most people in the football world. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been the catalyst really for this particular victory. He's settled in so well. I don't know, the impact that Xavi's had, bringing in players like him and Ferran Torres has made all the difference. But 4-0 against Real Madrid, I didn't see that one coming, did you?
Definitely not. I mean, they're off the back of a good result against Galatasaray in the Europa League as well. They went 1-0 down in that game and looked like they might be about to bottle it, but showed that actually they've got a bit more steel than they had at the start of the season. We saw Barcelona really rocked before Xavi came in, and some of the signings that they've brought in over January have just clicked immediately. I think when you saw that the first name that they were bringing in was an aging Dani Alves, it didn't look like the most inspiring thing. But even he is playing a really good role in that team. But mainly Aubameyang, it's fantastic watching his form. In this game, he was incredible. And I think Xavi's really getting a good tune out of him and making him a better striker in some ways as well. Xavi, obviously, like quite famously a few years ago when Aubameyang was being linked with a move away from Dortmund, said that he wasn't the kind of striker you'd want at Barcelona because Barcelona like to operate around tight spaces and he looks for space behind. And that isn't the kind of striker he can imagine at the club. Now he's managing Barcelona, has brought exactly that striker to the club, and he looks brilliant. He's scoring goals, and his link-up play with the likes of Ferran Torres and also outcast Dembele, it's brilliant for them. So a really encouraging sign for Barcelona that although this season is probably a bit of a write-off, but it's a good sign for the future. Now, I don't think anyone thinks that Aubameyang was signed for the future of Barcelona, but Ferran Torres definitely is. If they can keep Dembele, he's another player that could continue to grow at the club. And of course, that midfield is really exciting for Barcelona to see them back to their best in this game, definitely, if not necessarily what we associate with Barcelona.
It's been a different setup, I think, and I expected Xavi to be a proper disciple of like the Guardiola way of playing, but he's kind of adapted to the players he's got and added a real sort of extra flair and an extra dimension to Barcelona that we haven't really seen before.
One of the positives and something they'll take from being in this Barcelona team is that Barcelona very much pick their moments of when they want to expose teams in certain areas, runs into channels. And the thing about Aubameyang, he always gets in the right positions to finish a move. And as we've seen, over the last few weeks since he's come to the club and against Real Madrid, the 2 goals that he scored were typical, Aubameyang sort of goals. And, I don't know whether Real Madrid came into this game thinking, we've got a healthy lead in the league. Barcelona have looked a bit out of sorts. Barcelona haven't particularly played anyone of stature over the last couple of months. Since they kind of dropped out and into the Europa League, they beat a Napoli team that have been a little bit out of sorts of late. And I think there was probably a little bit of uncertainty there of what to expect, and I think they probably underestimated them. All of a sudden, there's so much positivity to look at. Real Madrid, like you mentioned, it was an off day for them. It was partly due to Barcelona being so good and partly due to Real Madrid being so bad.
Everything needs qualifying, though, with Barcelona when we talk about how much progress they're making with on the pitch. The progress is on the pitch. The club is still in an absolute state. The debt is still there. Nothing has changed off the field, really. As good as this performance was, and it's nice to see them playing good football again because they do have some quality players in the squad. I think we are overlooking a little bit what the scenario is and how they're going to get themselves out of that financial hole.
I don't really know where this money's coming from because they've just signed Frank Kessie for the summer. So.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to hope that it's sustainable, first of all, I think, for the club, because they've made a lot of players make a lot of sacrifices financially, haven't they? They've taken pay cuts or, we've seen Messi move on and not accept a new deal because of the plight they were in. Yet they go and spend some serious money on wages, you'd imagine. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Miles. It does raise a few more questions about, is everything okay off the field, and are they sustainable as a club still with these players on board, or they're trying to look for some kind of short-term fix? Well, there's the hope really that this 4-0 win isn't kind of a flash in the pan. I think that's what they need to kind of make sure that's not the case. And Same with Real Madrid, really. They need to make sure that this is just a flash in the pan for them and that they can move on. A lot was made about Benzema's absence, but you'd expect some of the up-and-coming players to step up, wouldn't you, in his absence and kind of relieve the front line, and they just didn't really.